Beethoven's Piano Concerto No. 3, played by McCawley. And if those of you watching on television thought you recognized him, he was indeed in the Young Musician of the Year final. And he's the first finalist from the Young Musician of the Year to appear at Leeds. He's the youngest competitor in the finals. And as I said, he won the Beethoven competition earlier this year in Vienna, and frankly, I'm not surprised. Piano Concerto No. 1 by Beethoven. A joyous opening, as indeed McCawley suggested it was. If I mentioned No. 3, which I might have done, it's because we're going on to No. 3 next with Filippo Gamba, so it's a real feast of Beethoven. But meanwhile, the audience here in Leeds delighted that a northern boy, a boy from Warrington, should have made it to the finals, and in such style too. McCawley, a very fine start to these finals. Well, Paul, I don't know about you, but I felt that's put a marker down.
I thought that was a terrific performance, and you could tell by the reaction from the audience. It simply brought the house down. It had everything, that performance.
I mean, it seemed to me that all the things that he was talking about earlier, joy and dance, were there, especially in that last movement.
Yes, you know, it suddenly occurred to me that that is a very good concerto to play for a competition. I mean, it's a young man's, it's a young person's piece. Beethoven wasn't much older than McCawley himself when he wrote that. And it's got everything that a pianist can show off with. You know, Beethoven wrote 3 cadenzas for the first movement of that concerto. And there's one, a very long one, about 5 minutes long, which is the one McCawley played. And that is Beethoven absolutely showing off exuberantly everything he could do, not only as a composer, but as a pianist. I can do scales, I can do arpeggios, I can play thirds, I can play sotto, I can play loudly, all very rapidly, and build a marvelous piece of music out of it. Everything stops, the orchestra stops, and you're forced to listen to this pianist for 5 minutes.
It was a risk, but he got away with it.
It's a risk, but he got away with it. Then it ends with a wonderful joke. You think it's going to end, you think it's going to end. Finally it ends, it doesn't end, it's ending, it's ending. The audience was audibly laughing around here. He brought that off absolutely superbly. Then, of course, by the time you've shown off with all that sort of loose-limbed virtuosity, Beethoven produces actually one of his most kind of operatic movements, so you turn into operatic hero. Again, I thought his lyrical playing was absolutely glorious. The line was very long, very sustained, very moving indeed. Then the last movement was Mark Scherzando, jokingly. You turn yourself into a joker and a clown. Well, I thought he was equal to all the demands of the concerto.
I thought that both he and Simon Rattle were listening to each other too.
I did
playing
too.
Off each other.
Yes.
Maybe his experiences in Young Musician of the Year playing a concerto on television under a lot of pressure has stood him in good stead.
Yes. I mean, you could tell, oddly enough, just towards the end of the concerto, the pressure of the occasion perhaps was just getting to him. There was the tiniest memory fluff, and he even played one wrong note,
yeah.
My word.
Well, let's hope that no jury would hold that against him.
I think nobody will hold it against him. I mean, whatever his placing at the end of this competition, and I happen to think it will be very high, he can be very, very proud of that performance.